When I first heard of the Tennessee Pigman, I was told he was a cryptid that stalks the forest near Memphis. For those who are new to the world of the strange and the weird, a cryptid is an animal that some claim exists but have no solid proof of, most famous of which are Sasquatch or the Loch Ness Monster. However, the more I researched the Pigman, the more I realized this was much stranger than some bipedal swine in the woods. Hey cousin, welcome to Haint and Holler Podcast. I'm Dee, your guide through the dark forest this evening, where we are on search of one of the stranger stories my home state has to offer, the Pigman of Millington, Tennessee. A small disclaimer before we head off into the woods. Tonight's story has details of gore, mistreatment of animals, and things that go bump in the night. Listener discretion is advised. The Meeman-Shelby Forest State Park is over 13,000 acres and sits along the Mississippi River. It is the perfect place for hiking, exploring, and to go and take in the glory of nature during the day. At night, it becomes a strange place, full of shadows, hair-raising sounds, and the feeling of being watched. Pigman is the name of the creature that is said to prowl these woods. The stories around him are as varied as those of any urban legend. Some are benign and merely creepy, while others tell of a murderer straight out of Silent Hill video games. Story claims that if you go to Pigman Bridge on Shake Rag Road over Jake's Creek and parked in the middle of the bridge, turn off your engine, roll down your windows, and shout into the darkness, "Pigman! Pigman! Pigman!" while flashing the car lights. He will appear, or, at the very least, you will hear him squealing nearby. Other stories claim you have to get out of the safety of your car for this to be effective. And still others say it only works on the full moon, as if Pigman is some sort of porcine werewolf. How this creature came to Meeman-Shelby Forest is a matter of some storytelling debate. One story revolves around the local Chickasaw Ordnance Works, now known as the Smokestacks. Story goes that the man now known as Pigman was a worker there who was involved in a horrible accident that disfigured his face. Shunned by his family, friends, and community, he sought solace in the forest, and either still lingers there in body or haunts it in spirit. While this version of Pigman lore is relatively benign, since his ghost is said only to be spotted or heard squealing in the woods, it is said that if he feels offended by your looking at him, he may very well attack, and that the Meeman-Shelby Forest has more than enough places to hide the body of an offending voyeur. Unfortunately, This story doesn't really have legs, at least where its origins are concerned. I did some digging around the Chickasaw Ordnance Works. Its history impressed me. One of the most dangerous locations for workers of the 1940s Defense Depot, the Chickasaw Ordnance Works produced raw TNT and gunpowder packed into high explosive cakes called gun cotton. While its product sounds terrifying to work with, there are two very important facts around this production plant. First, gun cotton has a wax-like cake that, while it will explode when detonated in a gun barrel, if you were to just put a match to it, it will burn more slowly than celluloid. Second, the plant was very cautious about anything that might create a spark. Employees were fired for nothing more than having matches, lighters, or even ballpoint pens on their person, since the simple click of that pen might create a spark. This attention to care and detail paid off. During its years of operation, the Chickasaw Ordnance Works never had a serious accident and earned the coveted E pennant from the U.S. Army for its near-perfect production efforts. For those playing at home, this means that the Pigman could not have been created in a catastrophic accident at the smokestacks. There were no major accidents to create such disfiguring injuries. Some accounts of Pigman don't include any disfigurement of the person, but rather that he wears the skin, face, or head of a pig, like Leatherface at a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The second story I heard about Pigman is much less about poor disfigured man, and more the stuff of vegetarian vengeance. Supposedly, Pigman was a pig farmer and a butcher in Millington who was cruel to his animals. For a gag, he would post the heads of his pigs on pikes around his farm, either to scare off folks or for a gruesome decoration. I don't think country living would approve. One day, there was an accident, a common theme in Pigman stories. The accident caused the man to drop partly or completely into his pig pen. Some say the accident killed him, while others say that he was merely incapacitated. Either way, the results were the same. The pigs took their vengeance on their cruel butcher and ate him, focusing mostly on his face and head. The ghost of the butcher Pigman that haunts the Meeman Shelby woods is said to no longer have the head of a human, but one of a pig rises above his shoulders, looking out with its small, beady eyes. Those who are brave or foolish enough to call upon him are said to receive the same cruel treatment and fate as his pigs, and their heads will be put on pikes around his own haunted area of the forest. While this story certainly gets points for scary creativity, and I'm certain when sitting in a car in the forest at night, it will give listeners a thrill. It too doesn't have much to support it historically. While there are farms with livestock in Millington, there aren't any historical accounts I could find of a man eaten by his pigs. Also, piking pig heads, while a great horror detail, it's kind of a waste of good product, and I doubt a butcher, no matter how cruel, would put up with such a waste. Lastly, While there are some unfortunate reports of people going missing in the forest and having accidents, these are fairly common for any wilderness location. None of them so far have included missing or piked heads. What is interesting about the Pigman story is that Tennessee is not the only one to have a porcine cryptid or ghost. Reports of a man-pig combination terrorizing folks can be found in New York, England, Holland, and France. The New York Pigman was actually inspiration for the American Horror Story Roanoke character, Piggy Man. Sadly, none of the Pigman stories from any location have had any explanation or proof other than stories told in the dark. Well, cousin, was the tale of Pigman enough to give you goosebumps this spooky season? Are you willing to dare the doubts and try calling him on the bridge at night? If you enjoy this story, be sure to hit that subscribe button for me. For details on the history and research behind our stories, come on over to our Patreon. Every dollar in the offering plate helps keep the mic recording. As always, thank you for listening to Hate and Holler Podcast.